Sacramento, California, 2009. I'm in ICU with my best friend and her family. The doctor was meeting with us and he said that there was nothing else that they could do. The cancer had spread all over her body and they wanted permission to pull the plug the next day. I'll never forget when Karen was diagnosed with breast cancer. She called me over to the house. She said, "If you're my friend, you'll come now." I immediately went over there and she told me that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. I remember she let me touch it and it was devastating. I had never touched anything like it before. It was heavy, it was wide, and it was real. I remember she told me that she was gonna make it. I helped her to organize her pills in those daily and weekly containers. She had seaweed that she was juicing, and that was supposed to help the cancer to go away. She also had an exercise routine that she was starting, and she has signed up for a marathon. And that day she charged me with basically being the faith police because she said, make sure not to have anybody around me that don't have faith. And in that moment, I realized that, that was her kryptonite. And if anybody was going to have the most faith in this, it was definitely going to be me. So fast forward to the day that they pulled the plug. I remember that the scripture that says that if you have mustard seed faith that you can move a mountain. And I had mountain seed faith. And when they pulled the plug, I remember for a minute, she was still breathing on her own. And I still had faith that she was going to make it. And then all of a sudden, it just flatlined. And in that moment that she flatlined, I felt like God punked me because I had faith until the end. I never even had that kind of faith for myself, but I had it for her. Losing her made me feel like I was losing myself and that I was losing my own purpose. I had to learn how to live again without her. I had to just learn myself again. I found out 10 years later in therapy that I was angry at God, and that would explain why I went to church and I didn't feel anything. I was numb. I went to church out of religion and not relationship. I remember being an alcoholic and a workaholic, and it was just devastating. But what I did learn from my kid's grandmother, Granny Deborah, she said, you have faith to believe that she would make it, but you never considered that God is still good if she didn't make it. And I said to myself, wow, that's powerful, because I never considered that.